5 minutes ago, Ted Lieu walked into the Senate chamber. He walked confidently and stood directly in front of the audience and all the other senators. He was holding a small voice recorder and said, "We believe this device contains most of the unexplained words and confessions about the Epstein file from Kash Patel's own mouth. We believe these recordings contain evidence that he deliberately destroyed intelligence documents during his tenure as FBI director and attempted to conceal them from all other news agencies regarding this case. These recordings will shake America to its core." Everyone in the room froze, and suddenly it turned into a chaotic scene. Kash Patel suddenly tensed in his seat. His eyes turned red, and beads of sweat began to trickle down his forehead. He exchanged glances one by one with the 7 lawyers beside him and tried to understand what was happening. Because Ted Lieu doesn't bluff and never shares any topic he hasn't researched with anyone without evidence. Every move he makes is calculated. Every word he says is backed by evidence. And now that little device in her hand could destroy Patel's entire career. The hall fell completely silent. Journalists prepared their pens, cameras zoomed in on Patel's face. This moment would perhaps become one of the turning points in American political history. You should watch this video until the end, because you will be shocked when you hear exactly what happened in these audio recordings. So how did we get to this point? Around 11:40 a.m. yesterday, an anonymous package was left at Ted Lieu's Senate office. The security cameras only showed someone in a black hoodie. Inside the package was an old digital voice recorder, and it only had the word "listen" written on it. Lieu and his team immediately began analyzing the recordings. They examined the metadata of the audio files, verified the dates, and compared the voice samples of the speakers with those in the FBI's archives. The voice recognition software showed a 98.7% match. Everything was real. The recordings were from September 2024 and included Kash Patel's speeches at a private meeting. The location of the meeting was not known, but from the sounds heard in the background, it was understood to be a closed office environment. Throughout the night, Lieu's team listened to these recordings repeatedly, noted every word, and analyzed every detail. At 6 a.m., it leaked to the news media. Ted Lieu has bombshell evidence. All the official news agencies there went live. Red alert on CNN, breaking news on MSNBC, even Fox News hesitated to cover this story. The hall was packed. The Senate hall, which normally has a capacity of 200 people, was filled with more than 300 people today. Media, politicians, legal experts, public representatives, everyone was here. Kash Patel came with 7 lawyers. His face was tired, and the area under his eyes was dark purple and sunken. It was as if he hadn't slept at all last night. His tie was a little loose, his normally combed hair was messy. Ted Lieu, by contrast, was calm. A Harvard Law School graduate, he was one of the sharpest interrogators in the House of Representatives and would only ask questions after verifying them with evidence. He had previously undermined witness testimony with critical questions in dozens of high-profile cases. Today, he stood at his desk with the same composure. Lieu placed the device on the table and pressed the button. First, a high-pitched, distorted sound recording played, and then that sound recording began. Everyone in the hall held their breath. The first audio recording began to play. Kash Patel's voice was heard from the speakers. "These Epstein files are very sensitive. If these become public, some very high-profile people will be harmed. That's why we need to remove some of these documents from the archives." The audience was shocked. A few people whispered, "Oh my God." One of Patel's lawyers immediately started taking notes. Lieu stopped the recording device and asked, "Mr. Patel, is this your voice?" Patel did not answer. He just looked at his lawyers. One of his lawyers, an elderly man in a gray suit, intervened. "My client will not comment on this matter. The provenance of these records, how they were obtained, and their legal validity are in question." But Lieu didn't stop. "Our voice analysis experts have confirmed the authenticity of this recording. This is Mr. Patel's voice, and everyone knows it," he said. He played the second audio recording. This time, Patel was saying, "An order came from the White House. We need to protect the names mentioned in these files, especially those marked with Code D." "These are untouchable," Lieu asked. "What is Code D, Mr. Patel? Who is hiding behind this code?" Silence. Only the whispers of the lawyers could be heard. Patel's hands were trembling under the table. "Now, I need to pause for a second. I want you to hit the like button on this video, not for myself, but for this truth to reach more people. The YouTube algorithm looks at likes, and the more likes this video gets, the more people it will be recommended to, and everyone needs to hear these audio recordings. This is not just a political debate, it's about the future of America. Also, write in the comments, who do you think is behind Code D? Politicians, business people, or Hollywood celebrities? I'm curious about your thoughts, because tomorrow Ted Lieu might reveal the full list of these codes, and then we will all be shocked. The third audio recording was played, and this time, it was like a full confession. Patel's voice. In September 2024, 67 pages were extracted from the Epstein files. These pages contain the names of individuals who attended meetings on the island. I was ordered to protect these names, and I did. Lieu shouted, 67 pages! Did you destroy 67 pages of classified information? And did you do this without anyone knowing? The hall descended into chaos. Journalists were shouting at each other, cameras were flashing, and the chairman was demanding silence by banging the gavel repeatedly. Patel, on the other hand, shrank into his seat and said nothing. His face had turned completely pale. She covered her face with her hands. One of her lawyers brought her water. Another lawyer tried to object to Lieu, but the president silenced him. Go ahead, Mr. Lieu, the chairman said. Lieu moved on to the fourth record. If these documents come to light, especially the names marked with codes A, B, C, and D, they will face serious trouble. Code A is corporate protection. Code B is political protection. Code C is media protection. And Code D is Code D. Code D is high-level government protection. That's why these documents must never be published. Lieu turned off the device and looked directly at Patel. Mr. Patel, how many names were under Code D? Patel's lawyer, the man in the gray suit, stood up. My client is invoking his Fifth Amendment right. Lieu laughed, but it was a bitter laugh. The Fifth Amendment is a refuge for those who are afraid of being indicted. Innocent people do not use this right. This is also an admission, Mr. Patel. Some in the hall applauded, some booed. There was complete chaos. But the most shocking part was yet to come. Lieu produced one final document. This document was one of the internal communications of the FBI and bore Kash Patel's signature. Date: the 15th of September, 2024. The document stated, the Epstein investigation will not be continued. The case will be closed. Reason: national security. Lieu raised the document in the air and shouted, national security? Did you cover up a child abuse scandal under the guise of national security? So, was this really national security, or was it protecting powerful people? Patel was still silent. He had his eyes fixed on the ground. He tried to adjust his tie, but his hands were trembling. His lawyers were whispering something to him, but it was as if he couldn't hear them at all. Lieu continued, this signature is your signature, Mr. Patel. It has the official FBI seal on it. You can't deny this. Lieu continued, these audio recordings and documents show us this. Firstly, Kash Patel may have abused his position as FBI director. Secondly, pages may have been deliberately removed from the Epstein files. Thirdly, this action may have been hidden under high-level protection codes. Fourth, the investigation may have been deliberately shut down. And fifth, while all this was being concealed, the American people may have been lied to. These are not theories. These are serious allegations and questions based on the evidence we have. Tomorrow, Ted Lieu will share the full transcript of these audio recordings and photocopies of the 67 deleted pages with the public. If you want to find out which names are on those 67 pages, subscribe now and turn on your notifications, because this story is just beginning. The truth will come out. The truth will come out. End. So, what will happen now? The audio recordings and documents in Ted Lieu's possession may just be the beginning, because the content of those 67 pages is still unknown. Who are the names hidden under Code A, B, C, and D? Are these just politicians, or are there also Hollywood stars, company CEOs, and even foreign state leaders? More importantly, why has Kash Patel remained silent? If he were truly innocent, why didn't he defend himself? Why did his lawyers invoke the Fifth Amendment? History has taught us this. Silence is often a sign of guilt. Innocent people defend their rights, speak up, and provide explanations. But the guilty ones, they fall silent. And the darkest part is this. If someone at the level of an FBI director can hide these files, then what else is being concealed? The Epstein files might just be the tip of the iceberg. Maybe there is a bigger system. Maybe these protection codes are used not only for Epstein, but also for dozens of other scandals. Maybe there are much darker secrets hidden from the public in America's most powerful institutions. Tomorrow, Ted Lieu will hold a press conference at 10 a.m. in Washington, D.C. What will be announced at that press conference? Here are the questions everyone is curious about. First, who exactly are the people on those 67 pages? Will the names be disclosed, or will only the code names be shared? Secondly, will the entire audio recordings be released? Because Ted Lieu only played 4 audio recordings today. What about the rest? Maybe there are more shocking conversations. Third, what will the FBI do about this? Kash Patel is still officially in office. I wonder if he will resign or be dismissed, or will nothing happen? Fourth, what was the White House's role in this? In the audio recordings, it was said, an order came from the White House. So who gave this order? The president, the vice president, or another high-ranking official? And most importantly, who is behind this scandal? Who sent these files to Ted Lieu? Who was the anonymous source? Was it someone from the FBI or an outside informant? And why now? Why did these files come out at the beginning of 2025 instead of the end of 2024? Some analysts say this is a political operation. Ted Lieu is a Democratic politician and Kash Patel is closely associated with the Trump administration. This is just a political vendetta, they say. But on the other hand, the audio recordings are real. FBI documents are real. The signatures are real. These cannot be easily ignored. The Washington Post wrote on its front page today, Epstein scandal back in spotlight. FBI director at center of allegations. The New York Times, however, is more cautious. The authenticity of the audio recordings is being debated. Even Fox News acknowledged the seriousness of the situation. Kash Patel remains silent. Questions mount. On social media, a storm broke out. On Twitter, the hashtag number Kash Patel resign became a trending topic. Millions of people are talking about this. Analysts are generating theories on TikTok. On Reddit, detectives analyze audio recordings, examine background noises, and investigate metadata. But the real question is, what is the truth? What's on page 67? Who is being hidden under Code D? Will the American people finally learn the truth? Or will this be forgotten like other scandals? Is history repeating itself once again? It had started like this in the Watergate scandal as well. A small theft, then audio recordings, then resignations, then the president's downfall. Will the same scenario happen this time as well? Tomorrow at 10, we will watch Ted Lieu's press conference live. The secrets of those 67 pages will be revealed. The names behind Code D may finally be revealed. And maybe we will witness one of the biggest scandals in American history. Now subscribe, turn on notifications, because this story is not over yet. The truth is coming out, and no one can stop it. Be here tomorrow. Let's learn the truth together.